Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. Today's episode, I actually wanted to share about a recent in-person training I did with a client and just some of the insights and thoughts that I had while I was out there. And one of the key things, I'm actually going to share one of the key things that I was picking up on that I thought might be the most impactful for any listeners who might be having this type of struggle. And so typically the flow of the coaching is I'll go out on the first day, we'll discuss business. So we'll talk about where the finances are at, where the money's going, and if there's any revenue opportunities or any cost saving opportunities to make sure that they're maximizing their allocation of funds. And then on the second day, we do all tour and sales training. And so this particular client, we went pretty good time on the business. I was there from about 8 to 5, so a typical day. But on the second day, we went from 8 until 9 p.m. Put in 13 hours. We did 2 tours, like actual tours of events. But really, what I wanted to talk about was what we discussed in the first 2 hours of the day. And this was because it was so necessary for this particular client. To give you a little backstory or context, when I got there, they are fulfilling on these events like nobody's business. I mean, they go over and above. They have great communication with their couples and their families leading up to the event, and they just go bend over backwards for their couples, for their families, just make sure they have a great time, right? So they're fulfilling. And when I got there, the very first question that I asked, or one of the first questions that I asked was, "Hey, who's the best venue in town?" And then they paused. And they looked a little confused, and then after a couple of seconds they said, we are? And I know it sounds like a trick question, and it is a trick question, kind of, but this gets to the heart of what I wanted to share on today's episode is conviction, and conviction in your selling. And some of this stuff I'll draw from Alex Hormozy because I like how he puts it. So in sales, you have two levers that you can pull for sales to make sales effective, and that's ability and conviction. And they multiply, right? So the more sales ability you have, the better you'll be, the more sales you'll get. And that's probably on a scale of 1 to 10. And then as he puts it though, conviction is on a scale of 1 to 100. And so if you have a top-notch salesperson, 10 out of 10 on the scale, but they have no conviction, then you're not going to sell anything. And vice versa, if you have conviction but your sales ability is 1, you will still get sales. You won't be very good at the actual technicalities of selling, but you'll still get sales because of your conviction. And he actually compares it to like people who join a new church, a new faith, and they're very convicted, but they don't know how to sell, and yet somehow they start to sound appealing, and they're gravitating, and they draw people to them, and they're able to get converts. And so it's actually pretty interesting. And so that question, I asked that specifically because I wanted to see how convicted they were with what they're selling. And what's funny is when I start asking about how they fulfill, I was like, "Oh, so you guys don't take care of your guests." And they started getting indignant on me, right? They were upset and started actually pushing back, which is what I wanted. I wanted them to realize that what they're actually delivering is what they're selling. And so I had to just break this mindset that for whatever reason, they had this mindset that they weren't good enough. And I don't know why, but I needed to break that thought and help them see that what they're actually providing is laudable and it actually is worth selling. And so we hyper focused on that for 2 hours of our day because I needed to help them see that like if I could take their conviction, which was probably at like a 2 or maybe a 10, if I'm like I might be being a bit um, I might be giving not giving them enough grace here on this, but if they were at a 10 or even a 5 and I wanted to help them get to 20, 30, 50, maybe even 100. And so what I wanted to focus on was a mindset shift with them. And that's why we started there with that training. And really what it comes down to is, do you believe that what you're selling is actually valuable? And if you believe that, if you genuinely believe it, then you will sell better. And so that's the tip that I want to give today is analyze how much you believe what you're selling. Are you actually taking care of your guests? Are you providing a top-notch experience? Are you communicating well? Are you following up? Are you making sure that they're not left in the dark or that any questions they have or concerns are being answered? Like, it's those small things that all add up. But if you're doing that, then you should have conviction that what you're selling is valuable. And if you're not, then it's no wonder why you don't have any conviction, and you need to fix it. And if you can't fix it, then you're going to go out of business. And that's just that's the honest truth. I mean, honest truth. Anyways, that's there's no other way to put it. If you are not fulfilling well and taking care of your guests, then they're not going to want to continue to buy. And they meaning your new prospects. Because they're going to see through it, and then you're going to start getting negative reviews, which are trailing indicators. And so my advice and recommendation is if you're not actually providing anything of value, if you're just unlocking the door on the day of and it's a blank slate and they have to do everything and you don't care and you disappear until the end of the night just to kick them out promptly at the closing time and say, oh, you're 1 minute over, you either get out or pay me, like, come on. That it just doesn't work. So if you're doing stuff like that, then fix it. If you're already like bending over backwards and taking care of your guests and helping them have the greatest day of their lives, which it should be, then we need to work on how convicted you are in actually selling that. Because that's what we're selling. We're not selling the building, we're selling the experience. So, anyways, if you found this useful, please subscribe. Please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you there.